Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2015 Army Birthday Celebration.
In July 2008, a terrible battle was waged in the Wagal Valley of Afghanistan. 9 heroes were lost that day, and one soldier's incredible bravery earned him our nation's highest combat honor. Here tonight to offer a tribute to a very special part of our Army family is the mother of one of the fallen from that battle, Miss Carlene Cross. And she is escorted by Drill Sergeant of the Year, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Miller.
I remember the day I saw Army officers approach my Seattle home. I ran to the door and threw it open. "Just tell me he isn't dead," I said. I didn't care how my son came home as long as he was alive. We had gotten through difficult things before. We would get through this. Jason's father and I divorced when he was 7. When his dad disappeared into alcoholism, he and his sisters and I pulled together. Jason had always been a fearless child, climbing oak trees and jumping from bridge trestles, throwing himself into the earth to catch a line drive or into the mud to catch a soccer goal. And finally, as a young man, on his 3rd re-enlistment, telling the recruiter to send him where the fighting was. When I was upset with what he'd done, he said, "Mom, if I go there, maybe I can take the place of some father, and I don't have children." So into the fighting he went. Even though he hadn't been to jump school, he was attached to the elite 173rd Airborne and to Chosen Company, a group of tough, seasoned paratroopers patrolling the Afghan-Pakistani border, the Hindu Kush Mountains, the most dangerous place on earth for an American soldier. When he first got there, he said the guys really busted his chops because he wasn't airborne. But then they soon accepted him as a brother. And when they saw his photography, they appointed him official platoon photographer. Jason sent home beautiful images of the Afghan people, the children, and of Chosen Company. And so the day the officers came to my house, it wasn't to tell me that Jason had been wounded, but that he'd been killed in a furious firefight that would soon become known as the Battle of Wanat. It had been the deadliest episode of the Afghan War, in which 27 of Chosen Company were wounded and 9 were killed. 8 out of the 9 that died that day died at the outpost above the main base, when, on the early morning of July 13th, 2008, over 200 insurgents attacked. The 9 men at the outpost held them back, preventing them from overrunning the base below. Jason was stationed at the outpost. After his death, I was heartbroken and angry. I was mad at God, I blamed myself, and I blamed the United States Army. And then last summer, Ryan Pitts called. I had talked to Ryan over the years. He first called only weeks after the Battle of Wanat, as he still lay in his bed at Walter Reed, recovering from life-threatening injuries. He said he wanted me to know that my son fought heroically during the battle, saving the lives of many. He said Jason had been an amazing soldier, and it had been a privilege to serve with him. Now Ryan was calling to tell me he had just been awarded the Medal of Honor. He invited Jason's sisters and me to come and celebrate with him at the ceremony. He said he would accept the medal not for himself alone, but for all of his brothers that died at Wanat. I will never forget the night I entered the Pentagon City Hotel. The place was electric as Chosen Company was arriving from all over the world. They were laughing and singing and hugging. You could feel the depth of love and loyalty that connected them. These were the men that over the years had gone thousands of miles out of their way to come to Seattle, to visit us, to call, to email. As I watched them, I realized, besides the girls and me, this is Jason's family. This is why he continued to re-enlist over and over again, so that he could serve his country in this fraternity of fearless warriors. And the next day, President Obama talked about Ryan's courage and his valor, and he also talked about the love and self-sacrifice of the men who died at Wenat, listing each one by name. The following day, at the Hall of Heroes ceremony, General Odierno and Secretary McHugh and Secretary Work did the same. And suddenly, as I sat in that Pentagon auditorium, I thought, if my son could have written the script for his life, it would have been this: to serve his country with honor, to fight alongside of his brothers, and to die in the company of heroes. And so I no longer grieve my son's death, but I celebrate his life. I celebrate the bravery of the little boy and the courage of the Army corporal. I am proud of Jason's military service, and I am proud to be part of the family that he loved, the family gathered here tonight in this room full of heroes, the United States Army.